Hey everybody, T-Ham141 here. Tracy, the one, the only Papa, the man of the hour. How's it going, guys? Good to see you. Good to be seen. Oh, I gotta hit my mute. There we go. Anyway, tonight, I put a lot of thought into this live, as I do with each and every one of my lives. Remy, you can stop laughing now because I really didn't. Welcome. Hey Patrick, how's it going? I put a link up above if you'd like to come on screen. Tonight I want to talk a little bit about some of the unpleasant and some of the pleasant things with homesteaders. I've recently did a video on me doing wood. Basically I just did 2 little bucket loads of wood, hand splitting it because my wood splitter's down, which is no big deal because, well, fat man needs to work out. And hey Marilyn, how's it going? Welcome. And so it occurred to me that there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we don't show when we do our videos because, well, it's just mundane. I mowed my lawn today. I didn't videotape it. Everybody mows their lawn. It's not something, in my opinion, that is viewable, that you'd want to put out there. I did wood. A lot of people doing wood is a niche. Yeah, if it's not on YouTube, it's not real. Yeah. But there's just so much stuff that goes into it that we don't share because, well, it's unpleasant. I don't like mowing my lawn. I mow it with a push mower, and I'm going to say right now at this point, I've got about 1.5 acres that I mow. So it's not all that bad. I do it with a push mower. It keeps me in good health. I just want to see. I did so far. I've done 6,000 steps. Well, 5,923 steps today. And usually that's all I get. Yeah. If I get any bigger, and at some point I'm going to have to get a riding mower, just because, well, I'm not as young as I used to be, and I'm lazy. But my grass, one of the pleasant things is when I mow my yard, it looks really good. There is a few patches of moss still, but when I get cutting my grass, it gets thick in some places around my garden because all the nutrients, I have a heavy clay soil, and all the nutrients from those wood chips, I would imagine, kind of leak out as the rain goes down through the wood chips. They kind of leak out in front of the garden. Oh my goodness. The grass is just so thick that it's actually hard to push the mower. And I don't mow it down close like people would usually do because I want it to stay green, and I want it to continue to live. And if when I see people's lawns start turning yellow, mine is still green because I leave just a little bit more on each blade, so that it's got that shade on the thatch, and that's a pleasant thing. The unpleasant thing is the mowing of it. I should, but unfortunately, the side would be a little bit too much work. It's hard enough to put the earphones in and push that mower. But that's just one of the mundane things that goes on a homestead behind the scenes that you don't see on our videos, because quite honestly, watching somebody else mow their lawn, I don't know, maybe but I don't think it would really get a lot of views. Now tomorrow, my video that will be coming out at 3:15 p.m. will be on taking the pigs on their final ride. We load the pigs up and take them to the butcher. One of them was 200 and oh man, I forgot what it was. Hold on a second because I got it right here. No, I guess I don't have it right there. It would be on my old phone. I wonder if this phone, my phone died today. It would not charge. Come on, come on. Come on. Okay, let's see if no, it's not giving me any conversations. But one of them I believe was 269 and the other was 240 something, 45, somewhere in there. Which is, we aim for between 200 and 250, because once you start getting over 250, you start getting a lot of fat, and such as that. I did bacon, which is pleasant. I'm keeping half a pig and I'm getting my half in bacon and pork chops and sausage. I don't mind pork chops rather than the pork steaks and stuff like that. But Wendy always disliked pork chops. Yes, bacon, the magical, magical bacon. While we were there, at Miller's Meat Market, where they butcher our pigs, I bought 5 pounds of bacon, took it home, and my mom, Trevor, I have my three sisters, Tammy, Trina, and Terrelyn, are up from their various areas. Tammy's in Florida, Trina is in Georgia, and Carolyn is in North Carolina, and we polished off that 5 pounds of bacon. Trevor made me an awesome bacon sandwich, but I cooked up the bacon, and oh, it was delicious because I just couldn't wait. So that's a pleasant thing. The unpleasant thing is, anytime, to me, there is a sadness when any animal leaves the farm, no matter how they leave it. When just recently, I had a chicken hurt its leg and it died. And then just, man, the day after, I found another formerly known healthy chicken was dead. I don't know if it was a weasel that got it or if it was just natural causes. See, chickens, as they age, they are performing their life's duty, and as they age, uh, I think my Buff Orpingtons are 2 years old now, 2.5, 3. So it shouldn't have been age that killed her. What I'm thinking is maybe one of the roosters is riding them hard. She was tucked in a corner, but it very well could have been she was hiding from a rooster in the corner, and a weasel was able to get its head in, and they suck it dry. I didn't look for marks. Yeah, freezer camp day is always hard, always, because these animals have characters. They have personalities. The chickens, not so much of a personality that I can distinguish them. Wendy said she could distinguish Buff Orpington from Buff Orpington, same exact color, but unless one of them had something on their comb or their wattle that distinguished them from the other ones, I can't tell them apart. The pigs on the other hand, they're easy to tell apart. And they say that a mature pig has the intelligence of a 3-year-old child, and I do believe it. They are very smart. They look at you with knowledge. Um, not saying they're self-aware or anything like that, and not saying not to. I mean, I've had these feelings for a long time, and every year we raise pigs and take them to the butcher. It's not kosher, but other than that, I'm not Jewish, so um, to any Jews, I do respect that, though, the whole Levitical law. But anyway, even though I don't adhere to it, it does it kind of pings you a little bit when an animal leaves the farm. Um, just the other night, one of my cats, Handsome, who is the friendly one, he's the one that when I'm being lazy and I'm watching TV in the evenings, he'll come in and lay on my chest and purr, and he's the one that'll get right between my legs when I'm sleeping, so that I have to wake up in the middle of the night to roll over so I don't disturb the cat. Why is it that people that I'm like that? I don't want to wake the cat up if I have to get up and go to the bathroom. My cat disappeared. Hold on, let me get my cat disappeared Sunday morning. Oh no, I'm sorry. Um, Marilyn, did they come back? Because my cat Handsome, I didn't see him. Uh, every morning I give them a teaspoon of canned food each. Uh, yeah, I know I'm generous. And I hadn't seen the cat after that. And then it wasn't in that night. And then it didn't come in the next morning. And I was really worried, but he is back safe and sound. Remy, not for me, I guess. It doesn't make you a sociopath. Because it's a sociopath is totally without feeling. Um, and you do take good care of your animals. A sociopath wouldn't want anything to do with animals. They just don't have that care. They would take care of themselves and not worry about anything else. Um, oh no, she's considering him dead now. I am so sorry. That was a beautiful cat. Now he was an older cat, which doesn't make it any better. In fact, it actually makes it harder the longer you have an animal. But it might still come back, Marilyn. It might still come back because sometimes they go Tommen or whatever the female cats are, what they do is called. Um, and I'm hoping I'll be praying that it comes back. Or I worry a lot. Oh, she was old and sick. That uh, we suppose it was a predator. Yeah, that is something that animals will do. Have been known to do in the past, is when it's their time, they will go. Um, and I've always said I wanted to do that. When it's my time, I want to walk into the woods and just pass away. Um, however, the romantic gesture that we have of humans, the Indians, when they got old, would take their final trip into the woods. That's not It's not so romantic. And I don't know. I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of the process of dying. Because the one thing on earth that I'm afraid of is um, pain. I am terrified of pain, and I greatly respect anything that can cause it. Is that my way of getting away saying I'm scared of everything? No, I'm not scared of everything. I'm just scared of everything that can cause pain. Deeply respect it. but that's one of the unpleasantries of being on a homestead. Another is this year I have ran into go during winter, you just fall asleep. That's what I hear, but I don't like the cold. I'd be all bundled up. I wouldn't freeze to death. I'd just lay there. I'd end up starving to death. Um, oh no, no, I understand. Um I was talking to my doctor at the VA today, and she said she has to ask. She says, "Have you had any suicidal thoughts?" And I said, "No." I said, with my luck, uh the day after I committed suicide, I'd win the lottery or something. And she said, "Yeah." She said, "But that's not all it's cracked up to be." Um, and winning the lottery does, hey, the more money you have, the more money you need. The less money you have, the more you learn to deal to go without it. But yeah, I could never hurt myself. Now, the VA, it's kind of a catch-22. They ask me if I have suicidal thoughts, but they don't ever ask me if I have homicidal thoughts, which I, disclaimer for YouTube, I never want, I have been in a war. I never want to kill another human being. That beat the snot right out of them, maybe. Kill, no. Um, especially another American. Or a Canadian. You guys are so close, no offense. You guys are safe. You're safe. But no, I would never want to hurt anybody. I just like to be left alone. But yeah. Anyway, that joke could have got real bad. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You guys all got a spot on the farm in the apocalypse. If things really, really go bad, just come down here to this homestead. Um, yeah, Russia's close to Ukraine, but I don't. I think the United States is failing, and it breaks my heart. And I think our brothers to the north may turn out to be a help to us as we go through this. Um, yeah, the Russia's close to Ukraine. Uh, yeah, but I don't think your prime minister would be quite apt to attack. Not yet, anyway. Give us a couple years; they'll have all our guns too, and then we'll all be defenseless. We can raid them with pitchforks. Yes, absolutely. And that today um I posted a comment on my community tab that was talking about the community that we have, um, and because I gave my mind. I gave Annie. She did a short video for me on when she received my sweatshirt, and I gave it about a week or so that I didn't interfere with that, and put her video, her short, uh, on the on my community page with the theme. Okay, all right. Hey, I might still be on. I like the sound of my own voice. They say, "Be safe, man." Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All the watch time is very much appreciated. Hey guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button and that subscribe button. And then very shortly after the live stream, I will have some my merch links and stuff like that down there. I don't know why I didn't do that before. It's just been a weird day. My home phone quit. And that is okay, being off grid, there is some unpleasantness. Um I have to keep and maintain my solar system. I have to keep and maintain my generators. Um, there is some unpleasant tasks and stuff that you really don't want. Weeding the garden. I hate to weed. Um, and unfortunately, my Back to Eden garden has gotten to the point that the first wood chips that I put down a few years ago are turning to dirt. And so last year, because of everything going on, I didn't put down another layer of wood chips like you're supposed to. And so the weeds were able to get into that dirt and and spring up. So I've got to take care of that. I've got beans that I have to harvest. They've been ready to harvest for quite a while. Oh, thank you, Marhy-Lynn. Marhy-Lynn is one of the best moderators you can have. Yeah, taking care of the electric stuff, it's hard. It's complicated. It's time consuming. But you're relying on yourself. This is a system that there is a lot to it that I can fix myself. Okay. Um, Bad battery, something like that. I can go buy another battery or whatever. There are ways to make batteries. I just switched to the LiPo 4 lithium ion batteries. And let me tell you, it is a world of difference. I don't know if you heard it when I first came on, but my laundry was entering one of its final spins and rinses, and I don't have to start the generator anymore. And I will be having my freezer brought up really soon. It's just a small freezer, but that's going to open up storing my own meat here on the homestead for longer amounts of time. Yeah, they do charge faster. They charge a lot faster, and they hold a charge. It hasn't gone. It rained for 2 or 3 days, and my batteries. I have 4 12-volt lithium ion 200 amp hour batteries, so I have a total of 800 amp hours, and it never went. They never went below 1319. I checked them at night. Right before I went to bed, I stayed up late actually and checked them before I went to bed, and they were at 1319, and that was after 2 or 3 days of cloudy skies. Yesterday, we had partly cloudy skies, and by 9 o'clock, I was floating. And the only reason I think it was floating earlier than that, but that is one of the things that it can be unpleasant. We're dealing with our own things. Um, we're being independent, self-reliant on a lot of things, and that's really scary to me because contrary to popular belief, and just full disclaimer, I am as mechanically inclined as the clip on this pen. Not the pen. The pen's more mechanically inclined than I am, but I'm as mechanically inclined as the clip. But yet, right now, I have a wood splitter motor tore apart, and I have where is it? I have the coil right here. I should probably open that. And that's unpleasant. I hate turning wrenches because taking taking stuff apart is fun and easy. Putting them back together, that's a different story. Oh yeah, and I don't have my pocket knife on me. I just put on my night shorts. Let's see here if I can. Okay, it's a coil and a spark plug wire in here. And I've got to do that myself. Now I could, hey Dave, how's it going? Hi, chopped down most of the garden, planting wheat. I love my new battery. Tested the other day. Power was out 2 hours. Oh wow, nice, nice. That is awesome. Awesome. Not that your power was out, but that it worked good for you. Yeah, my new batteries, I love them. I really do. Uh, I just did laundry. I can run the coffee pot anytime I want. I can run the microwave, which is just a 750-watt microwave anyway. But yeah, these batteries, um, they make life livable off grid. Um, and the thing is I had 7 batteries that took up a lot of space. Uh, down stored up down below my system, and they would go down to 12.3, 12.4 overnight, which is still, I forget what the scale is. There's a 12.7 is a full battery, 12.7 is a full battery, 12 volt, and I want to say 12.3 or 4 is actually half or somewhere in there, half of the battery charge remaining. And you try not to take it down below that. But now these batteries, like I said, if there's any amount of sun whatsoever, they don't go below 12 or 13.2. And even on with 2 days of clouds and rain and really dark days, uh, they still only went down to 13.19. That's impressive for me. I got to turn this fan on. Whoo! I'm working now. But yeah, another unpleasant thing is when I plan ahead, but I don't do it right. Um, I planted uh, 4, like 6 or about 6 cucumber plants, but those 6 plants, I didn't plant enough of them because you get a little bit in, you get a little bit of a harvest, and then you bring them in, but there's not enough to can, there's not enough to pickle, which I could just pickle, put more in later and stuff. I should have done that. But so you don't want to go through that hassle. So you wait for the next batch to be ripe, and then you bring it in, and voila, the old ones are no good, not suitable for what you need. But yeah, so what are some of your um, pleasantries or unpleasantries, things that are pleasant or unpleasant on the farm? I know um, on this homestead, deer fly season, it's a real thing. Look it up. Um, is can be unpleasant. It's too hot to wear a long sleeve shirt, but if you got skin exposed, the deer flies are going to find it. And now you've only got, how many amp hours do you have, Patrick? Yeah, mosquitoes, the same. Yeah, it's very real. During the summer, I don't go in the woods because once you hit that shaded area in the woods, there's serious bugs. Planned black walnut off inverter. Planned black walnut off inverter, drawing 700 to 1200 watts all day in sun, still at 12.8 volts. Nice. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So that's still, even a lead acid battery, that's still over a full battery for lead acid. And I want to say that you've got the Lipo 4s from Ampere Time like I do. And being off the grid, I realize I do things harder than a lot of people. My system, since for about the last year, my system has been able to handle an actual well that leads to a pressure pump, pressure tank, a bladder tank, and then into the house. But my well, I don't trust my well enough for it to not run dry and hurt the pump. Hi, Handsome. This is Handsome. This is a cat that went missing for a day and a half. But I could if I had the well that would hold the water. My cousin Frank Hunkins of Frank Hunkins Well Drilling in Lionsdale, New York, he is trying to work it out to where, because I used to drill for him, he's trying to work it out so that if he gets downtime, that he can bring the rig up and the drill rig up and set it up, and then I can just drill it myself. A fun thing this time of the year is coming from work to be able to fill a bowl with tomatoes, zucchinis, and cukes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I love the heart. My problem is I do pick stuff, but then a lot of times it goes in my mouth before it makes it in. Green beans, I'm notorious for eating more green beans than I put in my bowl. My blackberries, I'm the same exact way. Ampere Time, 12 volt, 200 out. Yeah. Yeah. And I got to tell you, I was watching a YouTube channel where the guy actually tears them apart, and Ampere Time is actually it's a higher quality battery in the mid section of quality. Does that make sense? Oh, Marilyn says she's happy to have you back, Mr. Handsome. Say hi. Say hi. Yeah, it is. Within 10 minutes, I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. You begin losing vitamins and nutrients from that vegetable or fruit that you pick. So if you can eat it, if you can take it from garden to table, within 15-20 minutes, you're actually getting the best use of that. And that is another pleasantry, is having the food, the fresh food that's full of flavor. I've had store-bought tomatoes that have no taste, have no flavor. I have had store-bought carrots that have no flavor. But my tomatoes, I don't know, maybe it's just because I grow them, that they taste so much better. Patrick's black cherry tomatoes don't make it into the house. Yeah, I can understand that, man. They got some of these varieties of the cherry tomatoes, and stuff. Some of these varieties of fruits and vegetables that they were coming out with now, it's almost as sweet as candy. My boyfriend was a little discouraged and making fun of me. I ate a whole big ice cream container full of blueberries in 2 days. Oh, well, tell him not to. I do that with Gorp, the peanut, the trail mix. And let's see, sunflower seeds. I can eat a big bag of sunflower seeds in 2 days. I used to go through a 2 liter of Pepsi every 2 days, but I cut that out, and I'm trying to lose weight. I think it's I hung out with my mom and my sisters the other day for a couple days and just blew my time schedule for eating right out of the water. And I ended up getting right back up to 220 pounds. The lowest I've been so far was 215. Uh, oh, he picked the blueberries and then you ate them all. So he didn't get any? Well, he's keeping his queen happy. That's all. You got it. You gotta, you know, give allowance for stuff like that. Um. Oh, he got half a cup. Okay, so you had um a whole big ice cream container full of blueberries, and he got half a cup. Okay, well, you saved him some. That was very nice of you. A lot of people wouldn't have. I mean, if you're going to eat an ice cream container full of blueberries, why stop when there's only when there's a cup left? Might as well eat it all. You were very thoughtful. It's easy to lose. Yeah, I wish I I've gone from 228 pounds down to 215, and this morning I was back to 218. As long as I stay away from the food pushers in Port Lyden, I'm just joking, guys. My sister Tammy and Terrelyn, but my mom and Trevor. The other night, I bought 5 pounds of bacon the other day when we took our pigs, and then we cooked up the bacon. And then that evening, I'm supposed to stop eating at 3 o'clock, but then Trevor comes in and he cooks everybody steak. And oh my goodness, it was smelling awesome. So I ate a steak. Um, and man alive, was it good. Uh, but, you know, the whole intermittent fasting is what it's doing is I can eat between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. But then between 3 p.m. and 9 a.m., I fast. All I can drink is water, or I can have coffee with no cream and sugar, or tea with no cream and sugar. And what it does is it's dealing with the insulin production in your body. And as soon as you take any real nutrients, it kicks the insulin in and creates more insulin. But after 11 hours of me not eating, if I stop at 3 p.m., if I stop eating at 3 p.m., then at 2 a.m., my body starts burning fat for energy. And I've got plenty of fat. And it seems to really be working well. I feel good. And all that, but it's just one of those things that I've got to do it for myself. I've got to lose the weight so that I can get out. I'm having a hard time adjusting to doing the outside stuff and the inside stuff. I've always been lazy. I've always been I make a plan for a day, I do that plan, and then I'm done. And now I'm finding that I have to come up with mechanisms to do some outside work that needs to be done, and then come inside and do some inside work that needs to be done. And it's just hard for me. I hate doing dishes. Wendy would always do the dishes and I would put them away because she hated putting them away. I mean, that's how in sync we were. I hated doing them. She loved doing them. I wouldn't say loved, but she didn't mind doing them. I hated doing them, but I don't mind putting them away. So yes, there's a lot of adjustment still going on for me on doing the outside stuff and the inside stuff. Um, I've got, I'm gonna say 2 cord of wood and 2 face cord. A face cord is 8 foot by 4 foot, 4 foot high, 8 foot long by 16-inch block is a face cord. Remy,
Hey.
back.
Yup. Did I take 25 minutes?
Well, I've been on for 40, so I don't know how long ago you left out.
Oh, less than 25 minutes then. 22:44, 22 minutes.
Nice.
I had to go feed the animals at my new spot.
Yeah. So how's that going for you with the new spot?
The new spot is going well. The only issue I have right now is that homesteading is expensive, and I didn't really know it until this year. I'm always at the last penny, and I'm looking at my budget right now. I'm leaving for a week for moose hunting. I don't even know how I'm going to feed the animals while I'm gone. Like financially, I mean, like I need to go and buy like 3 bags of feed, which is now $25 each. That's $75 I don't have.
Yeah.
I can buy the feed. If I buy the feed, I might not have enough gas to make it there for the whole week, So I'm just hoping that we can go and harvest our moose quick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard right now with prices going up the way they are. I remember last summer I was paying, I want to say $13 for a 100-pound bag of lay mash for the chickens, and now it's up $25. It's just craziness. It really is. And they're talking about human food starting to get scarce.
Yep.
I don't know.
It's not getting better on that side either. That's the good part, I guess, of homesteading is we're never going without food.
Right.
Unless there was a big power outage in the next few days, then I'm dead. But beside that, I mean, I got 2 full freezers. I am starting slowly but surely to learn how to pressure can, so that's coming too. I know Marilyn keeps telling me that there's a way to preserve my carrots without all the work, but I still need to find the sand and the containers to put my carrots in, which is not an easy task here because whenever we have something that's clean enough to do something with it, someone takes it and does something that's makes it impossible to put some food in.
Yeah. Yeah. With it's a shame you couldn't get just a smaller generator just to run your freezers and maybe your refrigerator, because the work you put in throughout the spring, summer, and fall and even the winter to fill those freezers up, that would really hurt if you lost it.
I used to do that. Now I have everything in bags, and I don't have time to get to it. That's probably like you're talking about unpleasant task on the homestead. That's probably my thing is I don't have enough time. I know, like Marilyn was saying at some point that her boyfriend helps her out a little bit. And when you're harvesting food for 1 or 2 people, it's not the same as harvesting food for 7. So I have to do the job of harvesting food for 7, and I'm pretty much doing it alone. The kids, they get involved. I can't say I didn't get any help in the summer, but every time I ask for help, it's always the end of the world. It's always some complaining. It's always, well, if you don't pay me, I'm not doing it. So I end up having to pay them, and I mean, that's just it. Like I get home from work around 6, 7. Because I have to go to the community garden and harvest whatever is to harvest there, or just take care of the weeds or whatever. And I stop by my new spot to feed the animals there, and by the time I get home, it's 6 p.m. Sometimes I don't even have time for supper. I think I lost weight this summer. I probably lost around 10 pounds, and that's just because I didn't have time to eat properly.
Yeah.
Skip a few lunch here and there. I did my turkeys all by myself. It took me a whole day. I ate my first meal of the day at 9 p.m. So that's if I could clone myself, I would, but no, it's getting tough.
Yeah. Yeah. It is very demanding, and to be doing it for 7 people alone, plus carry a job. And it is an expensive lifestyle. I mean, I don't pay an electric bill anymore, but I have to, buy gas to make sure that I can run the generators if I need to, or or the four-wheeler or whatever. The things that make life easier expensive.
Well, it is, in my opinion, it is still like I still bring in more food than what it costs me. There's no
Right.
doubt about that. The only thing is my girlfriend usually does the grocery, so I invest in the homestead with my money, and she gets the benefits from it, and
Right.
everything is going up for her as well, and she's making less money because the kids are growing up, so the family allowance is less, and stuff like that. So she can't afford as much food as she used to, and it's a good thing that we have the freezers full, because we used to have about $1,600 a month on our budget for grocery, and now that budget is about $400 a month. And with everything going up, like all we buy is bread, milk, ketchup, sugar if we need it, coffee. The rest is right now at the moment. We buy the snacks for kids because they go to school.
Yeah.
Besides that, everything comes from the homestead.
Um, yeah, that's hard because I set aside 450 for gas and 450 for groceries, and I'm just one person, and when Wendy was here, that was just 2 people. And the other day I went to Walmart. I got 2 cases of water because I use bottled water. I have very hard water here. And so if I use it in a coffee pot, it'll plug up the coffee pot in like a couple months. So I use bottled water for that and bottled water for drinking, even though I could drink the water from the well. I like to play it safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got some chicken patties. I got some pierogies. Uh, and let's see, I got a couple other things that I needed. Anyway, I basically I would have had less than a quarter of a cart had it not been for the cases of water, the 2 cases of water that I bought, and it came to $200, 198, 197. And
It's insane.
yeah. Uh, and it doesn't look like it's going to get better anytime soon, which politically things might be kind of changing, at least for the leftist state of New York. The current governor is only 3 or 4 points ahead of the conservative rival, um, of the guy that's running against her. And so if we can, which I hate to say it, but in New York, the Republicans in office or the conservatives in office were what liberals were 10 years ago. They're not really conservative. But hopefully things will be changing, because I know that unfortunately, what happens in the United States affects the rest of the world seriously. When we cut our production and exploration and of fossil fuels, it just sent a shudder through the whole world. So hopefully we'll end up being able to change that in the next couple years. But I think, I honestly think we're in the end days. But that's for another channel. um, but yeah, that's why we homestead. That's why we do this. And I just, the unpleasantries, of filling 200-300 gallon water totes for my water from the well, and then in the winter 255-gallon water tote or water barrels in the winter. It's unpleasant, but if it's going to cost me $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to drill a well, to have a well that I can depend on, I can't do that. And it's a choice I made. So many of the choices we make are harder because of the things we're like you. One of the unpleasantries is you go to work all day and then you have to go to the community garden, or your garden at the hut, and you have to take and feed your animals and stuff like that. That's not a fun job to have to juggle all that. I'm surprised you're awake.
Well, I feel like my body's used to it by now. The 5 hour sleep.
Wow.
I'm living on that right now.
I can't remember the last time I got 5 hours sleep. Just 5 hours sleep. Yeah, I get 5 hours plus.
Lucky you.
Yeah. My mom babied me when I was young. It's her fault, with 9 o'clock bedtimes and stuff. But I was awake for school. Didn't pay attention, but I was awake for it. But yeah, it's this lifestyle is not cheap. I've got, let's see, almost $3,000. They were 7 something a piece, and I got 4 of them. So yeah, $2,500 in batteries in there. And in the next 7 years, if something goes wrong with them, I'm in trouble because I am paymented out. But it was decisions that I made that led me to this place, and I love the fact that I'm not paying someone else to create my electricity for me, and that they can raise or lower the prices. That they decide what I pay, they decide what I use. I'm really happy with that decision. Because the alternative is just living off other people's work. And I don't know where we got to that point in industrialized society, where going to work to earn money to pay for the things we need to live, rather than working for the things we need to live.
Well, I think that, back in the days when we talk about like my grandparents and maybe your parents and grandparents, they would go to work, and it would be like the whole family. They would get out of school to go to work. Everybody was working together in the family. Everybody was like, had the same goal, and that was to survive. They didn't have any computers. They didn't have any cell phones. They had maybe one phone line for like 3 houses. Um, and at some point, the economy was doing better, and people got like used to have certain things, and now we got dependent on the internet. So now everybody needs either a phone or a computer. You won't have many houses without one of those two things. And now the economy is getting bad, and we should be getting back to the way things were before, but nobody can do that because we're now too dependent on society, on the way things are built. And even if you wanted to, like, even if I decided to sell everything and go live with my parents or with my brother and do like some people do, they move out of China, for example, and that I don't mean that in a racist way. Like, it's just that
Right.
you'll have a few families moving in an apartment, and they all have their jobs, and they all live like in the same building, and they cut the cost. And I mean, I don't remember having my own bedroom for my whole life. I did at some point, but now, like, I have 5 kids, and they all have their bedrooms. And we should be living in a house maybe with another family, and maybe have one level each. You know, like what I mean? Like, it's time to stop thinking that we need the stuff that we have. It's not that we need it; it's that we become addicted to it
Yeah.
to a certain point. Like, I have a computer behind me. I have one there. I have a laptop in my bedroom. My son has a laptop. My daughter has a laptop. Where do we stop? We need that to go to school
Yeah.
now. They need a laptop to go to school.
And for some, to some extent, I kind of agree with teaching the kids to use computers and stuff, because we are such a technologically advanced society, and for them to get a job and to compete in a workplace, they need to know how to run that. But I'll never forget, uh, on Little House on the Prairie, when uh, the father on Little House on the Prairie, he got a job at the feed mill so that he could buy his wife a new dress or something like that for Christmas, to buy Christmas presents. It was things that he himself could not make, that he needed money for, to purchase. And then shortly after that season, which was only supposed to be temporary, the guy asked him to stay because he needed the help. Well, that's when Charles went from being a farmer and creating his own food and existence to being in the money wheel, trying to earn money working for someone else. And then there came a point when everything crashed, and he, instead of going back to the farm and trying to raise the food, which I think there was a reason that he didn't do that, but he went out to work for the railroad. Uh, and it's just the we put so much emphasis on paper that's literally worth nothing. The ink costs more than, well, I don't know, the paper our money's printed on is made of cloth. It's got cloth and stuff in it. So, eh, but we put so much value on the cash, when it used to be different. We would put the value on spending time with family, and we did that because we had our food growing in the garden, and we could harvest it together. We could plan it together. We could work on it together. Um,
Yeah, and I was having an argument with my wife yesterday, and she was telling me, like, it's not the kids' job to go feed the animals. I'm like, it might not be their job, but they still live in this house, and they have to do their part. I remember when I went to school, there was this family that it would kind of get picked on because they were a little different, and there were 9 kids, and they didn't have a TV. When it was time to do the hay, they would go the whole family, and there's no way that they were going to go play hockey or have a sleepover with some friends. It's hay time. You all come and you all help.
Yeah.
When it was hazelnut season, they would all go and harvest hazelnut and do their part. When it was strawberry time, they would go in the field, sit down, and harvest strawberries. That's the only way they could make it work.
Yeah.
And it wasn't child labor. Like, I mean, it was something they had to do as a family.
Well,
Take care of the garden, take care of the land, do some things to get the money in.
and it instilled knowledge, number one, because I wouldn't know how to, other than your video. Was that hazelnuts you did?
Yeah. Long beak hazelnuts.
Yeah, until your video, I didn't know what a hazelnut looked like. We don't have them around here, so it's not something I've ever really paid attention to.
People can make a few $1,000s a year out of those.
Wow. And you get that work ethic at an early age. Yeah, it's not easy to include the kids, and you worry about them resenting it. My father had a garden, and I hated working in the garden. Boy, is he getting a laugh now, because now I love it. Of course, I don't weed the way I should, and I don't take care of it. And Trevor's still waiting for the day when I come up with a garden as good as one of his. But I'm working on it. I'm gonna get there one way or another.
Bit at a time.
Yeah. I try to show by example. Yeah. It's one of those things that you just have to keep trying to instill in them. But my understanding, I haven't been in the workforce for a while. I was medically retired in '98, I think it was. So I haven't been in the workforce for a while. And but from what I hear Trevor telling stories about people at work, and stuff. Some of the younger kids come in that come in and funnel right through. They don't have a work ethic. They don't have a stick to itiveness like we used to do. Which, just for full disclosure, I was forced to be that way when I was a kid, and I don't have. When I'm doing something, I try to do it good, but my problem is getting motivated to do it. I'm not a self-motivator, which is probably not a good thing for a homesteader.
No, definitely not. But I think we're pretty much all a little bit the same.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so we've got there's a pleasantness, which is eating the bacon, and then there's the unpleasantries of the animals leaving the farm. We know what they're going to do when they get off the trailer and get into those cages. We know what's going to happen, but we don't like to think about it. I do at some point want to learn to butcher my own pigs, because my understanding, it's different than deer.
Yeah.
Hard to get me going at times, but boy, when I get going, yeah. But I want to get, one of the dreams for the homestead has always been a smokehouse, and I think I'd like to do a shack. I saw one on what's the guy's name? Oh man, what is his name? Something. His kitchen. But anyway, it's on YouTube from time to time. But they did a video on, they butchered a pig, and I mean, they went from putting it down to picking it up to dumping it in the boiling water, shaving it, cutting it in half and sectioning it up, and then some of it they hung in the smokehouse. Some of it they put on a table and covered with salt. And it was just something that I want to know how to do so that I don't have to pay. Then I can sell a pig, take it to market, and I don't have to use the money I get from that to pay for mine to get butchered. I can do that myself. As a kid, I remember hating when my parents told me to do a chore when I was supposed to do it. I did not do it at that time. Yeah. I was going to do it, but once they told me to do it, man, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up picking rocks in fields and picking up straw bales. I can do it, but man, why? Yeah. Yeah, when I was young, that was always a summer job that we'd get like $5 or $10 a day to help the farmer. And uh, it didn't matter whether you were on the ground throwing the bales up onto the wagon or on the wagon stacking the bales. You were throwing 50-pound bales up, and it was a hard day's work. And those farmers went from sun up to sundown. But it was fun because it made you feel like a man. You were getting paid for it. I did
Good
not.
exercise.
But it was just cool. And there is a lot of labor and a lot of thought. That's one of my problems this year. I mentioned earlier that I didn't plant enough cucumber plants, and I didn't plant enough tomato plants for in order to get a full harvest in one go, and then enough ripe to pick in one go. And that's a lesson learned. Next year will be different, and I won't plant in March in my indoor garden. That was way too early. Picking strawberries in a field and not be able to eat it on the spot. And it was yeah. That would be bad. Not being to pick strawberries and not being able to pop one in your mouth. Oh, that would be bad. Oh. Yeah. But yeah, loading up the pigs the other day, it's a bittersweet thing. Number one, it's not fun to get in the pig pen because it's so wet. And you go in, I've got a rain suit that I put on. Trevor's like, "What are you doing?" Well, it was raining, but I put the rain suit on just to keep from getting all that mud, that nasty mud, on my clothes. But they actually went on pretty good. I had to go in there and wake them up. They ran around me, and I took a piece of sheet metal as kind of like a hog panel, and I held it at my legs, and I just wouldn't let them turn, and they went right up on the trailer really, really well. I did not get that part on video because it's important. If once they get on that trailer, you have to close them in. Otherwise, if they get off that trailer, you're not going to be able to get them. Once they figure out what you're doing, they're not going to let you get them back on there. But, all right, so I think I'm gonna say goodnight now. It's been an hour, and now is Darren going live tonight? Do you know, or
I haven't heard from him in a while. I know he's getting ready for the big day, and he's working hard on the homestead as well. So a lot of people take a break in the summer.
Yeah, and it's definitely understandable. But and then tomorrow night are you going? You're going live tomorrow night.
Yep.
All right. I look forward to that. And um, a thing. Let's see. A thing for sure. A nice chore to do is clean up for the internet cable. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Patrick got the first public wire coming into his house. Um, he's been totally unplugged from the world, but it's going to improve his internet reception and everything. It'll be nice. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast. Y'all have a great day, and just remember the upsides of homesteading far outweigh any unpleasantness that we have. Um,
Oh yeah.
and it's just an awesome way to live. Um,
Wouldn't
and
have it
thank
any other
you.
way.
Yeah. Thank you, Marilyn and Patrick and whoever else is in here. I know Dave was in here for a while. Y'all have a wonderful night and a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you tomorrow night, hopefully on Rems Live. All right. Y'all have a great day and God bless.